Hello, everyone. This is Liz Jennings, Employer Engagement Specialist with CareerForce. It's 10:30, so I am so pleased to welcome you to this week's virtual career fair, where we focus on companies in the tech industry. This week is a special week because we are doing this in partnership with my colleagues at Minnesota's Department of Employment and Economic Development and with Minnesota Technology Association, MinTech. Couple of housekeeping things before we get started. Feel free to ask questions in the Q&A box. You can turn on subtitles on the bottom. There's a little CC in a box. You can turn them on in either English, Arabic, Hmong, Spanish, or Russian. And I'm encouraging everyone to sign in. I'm getting some reports, though, that my form is not working. Golly gee willikers. So if that's the case, if you can't get it to work for you, could you please just type in your name and your city in the Q&A area? I won't make them public, but I'll have a record of everyone that joined. So I'm so glad to have you here. At this point, I'd like to welcome my coworker, Adeshewa Adesiji, Workforce Strategy Consultant with Minnesota's Department of Employment and Economic Development.
Good morning. Once again, my name is Adeshewa Adesiji. I'm the Workforce Strategy Consultant for the Department of Employment and Economic Development here in the metro area. I want to thank everyone who attended the previous session where the educators presented on their trainings, and now this hour where we're going to hear from a few employers in the metro area talk about their hiring needs or their current hiring needs. Before we go into that, I'd like to talk a little bit about my role as a workforce strategy consultant. I'm here in the metro area. So Liz, if you haven't already, you can put the next slide. So in summary, the role of these workforce strategy consultants is to assist employers with developing innovative workforce solutions for their current and future workforce. So what this means in a nutshell is that we get employers to think outside the box when it comes to recruiting, retention, career development, and upskilling of their workforce. As everyone already knows, there's a changing demographic in the metro area. Therefore, there is a change in the demographic of the talent pool, which now employers are looking at how can we outreach to different communities to build our talent pool and to get them working for our company. So we serve as a resource for employers, everything from assisting in the development of recruiting initiatives, connecting employers, resources, and key stakeholders within our region, and continuing the conversation on building a diverse and inclusive workforce support at this time. So in Minnesota, there are a total of 6 workforce strategy consultants. As I mentioned previously, I'm the workforce strategy consultant in the metro area. And at the slide that we're looking at now, it has our lovely faces and locations and regions of the other workforce strategy consultants. So each region has identified industries within those regions, and based on those identified or in-demand industries, we work in outreach to those employers. We actually work with all employers, but there are specific ones that we pay their attention to. So one of the industries of demand in the metro area is information technology. And so once again, I work with employers and work with educators in that industry, find ways to build talent pool and build a stronger workforce, not just for immediate work. So employers can have a continuous resource of talent to fill those hiring as a operation. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. If employers have questions, my information is there. If they have any locations in other regions, they can contact me in that area as well. So with that, I would like to tell you the list of employers that we have in the UK. We have representatives from Steve Robinson, Chili River, Amos 10, Medtronic, and Target Corporation. So with that being said, we'll start with our first employer, Steve.
Adeshewa, can you lean a little closer to your microphone and just repeat what you just said?
That will start with our first employer, C.H. Robinson.
Oh, great. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay?
Great. Yes.
Okay, it's coming through clear.
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it. I am Megan Kirk. I am the supervisor of our technical recruitment team at C.H. Robinson. C.H. Robinson, for those of you who are unfamiliar, we are a global provider of supply chain and logistics services. So really, in a nutshell, what that means, and the most important thing to note about our business model is that we do not own any modes of transportation. So we are strictly a 3PL, which is a third-party logistics company, where we connect our customers, which range from a variety of industries. 40% of our business is shipping goods within that consumer products essential market right now, and about 25% is shipping within the automotive and manufacturing industry. So those industries make up the majority of our business. So we connect our customers in those industries to our carrier partners, who are the companies that actually own the modes of transportation. So you can see on this first slide, there are just a handful of facts about us. We are publicly traded, global. Most of our employees are located in North America. Of our just over 15,000, about 10,000 are located in North America. And our global headquarter campus is in Eden Prairie, where we have about 2,500 individuals. And we do have our largest technology presence is here in Eden Prairie. We have a full building comprised of about 750 individuals that are dedicated to technology. So we can go to the next slide, please, Liz. Thank you. So as I mentioned, we connect our customers to our carrier partners, and we do this by leveraging a platform called Navisphere. So Navisphere is our proprietary custom-built platform. Essentially, the way to think about this is it is somewhere between a mini ERP, so an enterprise resource planning tool, and a TMS, which is a transportation management system. And really what it is it's our enterprise data warehouse. It stores all of our customer and carrier data. And on the left-hand side, you can see all of the applications that are external facing. So this platform is both used for internal and external purposes. As far as internal purposes, some of the things that Navisphere is used for is to find the most efficient and optimal routes for our carrier partners in order to reduce, costs for our customers, as well as speed, as well as visibility. So on the left-hand side, those are all of our external facing applications. And really what those are intended for is to automate all of our shipments. So from how a customer inputs an order, to how we find the most optimal route, to how we negotiate prices with carriers, and then how we ultimately get our carriers the correct path to find to get the goods to distribution centers or to end users. Go to the next one here. As far as opportunities go, like I had mentioned, we have our largest presence here in the Twin Cities, just over 1,000 employees in technology overall. 750 of them around are in technology. We have about 400 software engineers that are working on our Navisphere platform every single day. So it's a really, really large job family for us. The reason I put our entry-level opportunities is because I wanted you guys to have an example of what are some of those job families or titles that I should enter into our job alert section. So on the right-hand side, you'll find our career site, which is jobs.chrobinson.com. And right at the top banner, you'll have an opportunity to sign up for alerts. And for those of you that are newer to the technology industry, I wanted to give you guys an idea of what are those ones that I should be setting up alerts for. And then for those that are more experienced, we also have many opportunities, and feel free to sign up for job alerts based on your experience and or future career objectives. We do have an entry-level software engineering onboarding program called the Hatchery. So it's HATCHRY. So you'll see CHR in the middle of that. And then Hatchery is the fact that they are blossoming into a full stack engineer. And we do have that onboarding program twice a year, once in January and once in June. And we have, it's an instructor-led 3-month program where you're learning the technology stack specific to, what we use here, as well as our business and our methodologies for CDLC. And we also have these other opportunities. That's the only onboarding program we have, but we do have a really strong learning and development team who's built overall enterprise-wide onboarding programs, so you'll never feel lost coming in. As far as diversity and inclusion goes, you'll see there at the bottom a picture of CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion. This was signed by our former CEO, John Wehoff. He was our CEO for 17 years. And he retired about a year ago, and our new CEO, Bob Biesterfeld, recently signed that as well. So that's just stating that we are committed to that program and those practices. This fall, we will be requiring all employees go through inclusivity training. So that's something really, exciting to hear, that we are making sure that we're taking the effort to not only look at how do we bring in more diverse profiles, but once you're in here, how do we ensure that we're building an inclusive culture and environment. I did not put my contact information on here, but my name is Megan again, and it's MEAGHAN, and my last name is Kirk, KIRK. So it's megan.kirk@chrobinson.com. So if you have any questions for me, I'm also hanging on afterwards. So feel free to jump on and chat with me one-on-one. And I don't know if we are taking any questions right now, but that is all I have prepared.
Sure. One question was, what is the programming language that you use? I'm trying to get back to it here. What programming languages do you use in Navisphere?
Sure, great question. So we consider ourselves an expanded Microsoft shop. So although the core of what we use is .NET, C#, mainly .NET Core, so the latest framework, we also leverage mainly React for our front end, as well as for database SQL Server, and we started to dabble in Elasticsearch, NoSQL databases, so some of the newer technologies as well. So it kind of depends upon what application you're working on, because within Navisphere there are hundreds of applications. So some of them leverage different technologies. And then we did just sign a contract with Microsoft Azure. So we do have a couple applications in Azure, and we're in the process of really moving to more of a hybrid model of on-prem and cloud.
That's great. Other questions, Adesheva? I see one here. It says the onboarding position she mentioned, what is the certification you need to do it? You might have already answered that.
Sure. No, I did not do that. So we just require that there be some level of training in order to apply to that. So whether that be through, a 4-year degree program, or if it is through a boot camp or other partner where you have at least some foundational knowledge of the software development life cycle.
Right. Good.
So there is another question. Do you have contracting opportunities If so, what path would I need to take, or would they need to take?
Sure. Another good question. We do have contract opportunities. We typically do not post those contract opportunities. We do work through various agencies. So if you would like to know more about who specifically we partner with, feel free to send me a note and I can fill you in on what partners would be good for you to get in contact with to hear about those opportunities.
And just to let the audience know, we do have a slide where we have all of the contact information for the employers presenting today. So if you were not able to catch any emails as they're being mentioned, they'll be listed at the end of the presentation.
That's great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Megan, for being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see a handful of questions on the right, so I'll go through and privately reply to those, as well as, again, feel free to jump on. I'll be on at 11:30 with the link that was previously sent to you.
That really helps. Great. Thank you. I would like to welcome Grace Kennedy Marsh and Joe Velasky from Digital River.
Hello, everyone. Grace couldn't make it, so it'll just be me on here, but I'm a senior talent advisor at Digital River here. A bit of a difference here of kind of how we run our talent acquisition HR company here is that myself, we act as not only just a recruiter and trying to fill position, but we're also follow you throughout your whole career through Digital River. So we're also here to help support you, whether it comes to promotions or figuring out what certificates you need to be able to continue your path through Digital River and continue to climb up the ladder. So we are kind of a two-parter here when it comes to Digital River. We both do the recruiting side and then also focus on your career growth throughout your career through Digital River. So we can go to the next slide here. Digital River, the biggest thing we're known for is essentially e-commerce and creating it as a solution. So software as a solution is really big. What we do, as you can see on the slide, a lot of words in there connecting B2B, B2C type of things. But really what we do is we can take a look at your e-commerce page and we can do a lot with it, whether it's we need to create a whole page for you, kind of create the whole infrastructure when it comes to e-commerce. We can do that, or if it's just parts of e-commerce that you need help with, we can provide that too, whether it's just focusing on order management side or building it up to make it a better customer experience when they're clicking on your e-commerce page. And then we also do other things that maybe we're quite not as known about that we kind of do in the background, but we can also focus a lot with payment processing, especially if you're doing payments overseas and dealing with all the taxes that go in with that. And then we also do risk protection as well with card protection and fraud protection and everything along that lines as well. So we started off in 1994. Been heavily recognized in this industry. We are a global company as well, and we are, like I said, we're able to focus a lot on all the markets that you see there in North America, Europe, Asia, Australia, throughout that. Next slide, please. So right now at Digital River, like I said, we're a private company, not a huge company, about just over 700 employees worldwide, around 400, a little bit over 400 employees in our Minnetonka location. We do have another office in Cologne, Germany, one in Taipei, one in Ireland as well. So that's kind of our main hubs, have a couple remote people across there, but pretty much Minnetonka, Ireland, Taipei, and Cologne are our main offices that we have. Right now for our open positions, all pretty senior positions that we have open, but definitely have a wide range when it comes to positions that we open. So we have software engineers, mainly a Java shop that we do here. So looking a lot with Java technology, lots of PM positions that we have on there. And then also when it comes to on the architecture side of things, systems architect, data architect, also doing a lot with cloud engineering. We do a lot with the cloud in there as well, and building up that side of the business. So mostly that you're going to see for entry-level positions, usually going to be software engineers, QA engineers, both on the manual and automated side of things, help desk side of things as well. I would say that's probably our vast majority positions that you're going to see that we're going to have at an entry level. Otherwise, it's kind of across the board when it comes to more of those senior positions. Right now, with just the way the world is right now with COVID and everything, we are getting close to getting back in the office, but we are taking our time in doing that and making sure we can do it safe. And so a lot of everything is remote, and we are currently kind of revamping our whole remote mindset and everything, kind of taking this opportunity with everybody having to be 100% remote, looking at how we can continue to do that throughout, not at 100%, but at some capacity through there. But right now, so onboarding, everything looks a little bit different than what it did in the past. Everything's done remotely and kind of done all through there. And then in order to apply to the positions, just go to our career page. Again, you can find out a lot of great information of things that we offer, perks of working here. And like I said, those perks are continually changing just with the change of the world right now. With that, next slide, please. And then ways to move around. Like I said, kind of my part of my job is also to help you kind to move throughout Digital River, and we view that in two directions at Digital River. We view that one, a traditional track. You start off at entry-level position, then move to mid-level, senior level. Then if you want to get into management or you go up to principal level, definitely opportunities to go that direction from bottom up and move in that one. The great thing that we do is because we do work across all these different platforms that I talked about earlier that use a lot of the same technology. We kind of group people up and depending on what category of the business that they're working on. So you also have ability to expand your skills and knowledge cross-functionally as well. So maybe adding on more responsibilities and moving to a different group, not necessarily again moving up, but also moving across to gain more knowledge and everything like that. And that's kind of the really great thing at Digital River is that you don't necessarily have to follow a traditional track and going from bottom up, is that you can go across, continue to learn more, grow more, and then also move up in that way as well. Next slide, please. And I think that is pretty much all that we have for Digital River. Any questions?
Yes, so there is a question. Do you need experienced technology sales executives?
As far as technology sales, it really just depends on the level and what position that we're looking for. If we're looking for somebody more in that senior level side of things, then we're going to have heavier requirements of what we're looking for. If it's kind of more of the entry level, then we're just not going to be looking as heavy as that side of things. So it really just kind of depends on the position and what level it's at.
And then for you, Digital River, do you utilize EDI for supporting your e-commerce?
So we are focusing more on the API side of things, not as much on the EDI.
That's great. Any other questions for Digital River? Then thank you very much, Joe, for joining us today. You'll hang around too, and we have your contact information right there on the screen. I would like to move ahead now and welcome our team from Genesis 10. Varda?
Yeah,
Yes.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Liz and Adishewa, for this opportunity to talk with you. We're really excited about it. My name is Varda Nowen, and I work for Genesis 10. I manage the relationship between Genesis 10 and some of our key clients. And with me is Chris Rowe, who you will hear from in a few minutes, who will talk about some of our open positions and how to connect with Genesis 10. So our objective over the next few minutes is to give you a brief high-level overview of our company, and then focus in on a junior talent program that we have for developers that some of you might be interested in. So Genesis 10 is a technology consulting company. We are a professional technology services firm throughout the United States. We are privately held with a sole owner whose name is Harley Lipman. He's our CEO. He sets the tone and culture for our whole organization. And if you want to Google him, he's pretty amazing. And he's interviewed a lot in the business press as a leading voice in what's going on, like currently with the economy and everything. So Harley is really passionate about keeping jobs in the United States. So we are domestic only. And we do have an alternative to offshore as one of our solutions, domestic outsourcing. But mainly we work with clients and with consultants in the United States. We have about 2,000 employees across the United States. Most of them are our consultants. And then our back office team, which is Chris and me, and sales and recruiting and marketing and support. The services that we provide primarily for our clients are IT staffing, and that includes a wide variety of roles, essentially anything on a technology project, program and project managers, any type of analyst, like a business analyst, data analyst, systems analyst, tester, project coordinator, of course, developers, software engineers, and then on the infrastructure side, like level 1 help desk professionals and systems administrator. We also provide workforce optimization programs, which is to help our clients solve some of the technology talent gaps that exist. And I will be talking in a minute about Dev 10, which is one of our flagship programs. Some of you, I hope, will find that something you want to apply to. And then finally, I mentioned our domestic outsourcing. On the bottom left, you can see the locations for Genesis 10, about 16 offices. Our largest office actually is in the Twin Cities. We're headquartered in New York City, and other major offices are in Dallas, Charlotte, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. Next, you can see some of our represented, or stay on that, please go back to that first slide. You can go back, thanks. Some of our representative client lists, both nationally and in the Twin Cities. We work with about 150 clients throughout the US and about 35 or so in the Twin Cities and in Minnesota. And I'm sure you'll see some names you recognize there. As you can tell, we work with mostly very large organizations. And then most of us have worked with Genesis 10 for a long time. It's our career and our passion. We're totally focused on working effectively with consultants and with our clients. And many of our consultants go from one project to the next and have been with us for many, many years. So we've received some nice rankings and awards, which we're really proud of. The Star Tribune just ranked us as one of the top workplaces in Minnesota. We're one of the top IT or technology staffing firms in the United States, and one of the top largest consulting firms in the Twin Cities. And Harley, who I mentioned previously, is consistently ranked as one of the top CEOs in the country, with other CEOs like Google and Facebook and other technology companies. So that's a little overview of Genesis 10. And now I'd like to go to the next slide and tell you about the Dev 10 program. So many of our clients came to us and had a huge shortage of developers, and everyone is trying to hire the same people. So we came up with an innovative program to create a new talent pool and really thinking outside the box. It's called Dev 10. And as you can see, it's locally sourced candidates. We train locally, and then we deploy to local clients, not just in Minnesota, but other areas around the country. So we source the high potential local talent. So like if you hear about it now and you email us with an interest, that's one way we source, but we use other ways to recruit people. We are looking for people in this program who are interested about maybe changing careers and being in technology as a developer. So that have a technical acumen or interest, that are curious problem solvers, that are collaborative and good communicators. Typically, a lot of the candidates have a 4-year degree, often in STEM, not computer science. We're not looking for that for this program. We really want to train people. So like a math degree or science degree, but we also have people who studied anthropology or business or English. Typically, it is a 4-year degree program. Occasionally, we'll have someone with a lot of relevant experience. Well, experience doesn't have to be necessarily relevant who will participate in the program. Then we put candidates through a pretty rigorous recruitment process. It's a multi-step, 5-step process, and you have to pass every step of the way. So it starts with a phone screen, after the resume review, a behavioral interview, an actual coding exercise, a group interview. After you've made it through all those recruiting processes, we then make a job offer to become an employee of Genesis 10 and then put you through our own boot camp training. So you're actually a salaried benefited employee of Genesis 10 at that point. The 3-month coding course might be similar to some others that you've heard of, and the difference is you don't pay for it. Those other ones you do pay for to get like a coding boot camp, but we hire you, so that's where the selectivity of our candidates come. We do cohorts of between 10 and 20 people, and we run them fairly continuously, like every 3 months. We did decide to pause and do the next one starting in August, so make a note of that. During that 3 months, you'll be working a lot. You'll be in classroom and you'll be doing homework, and you will be learning many new technologies around typically Java development or .NET development. And you can see a couple of the technologies there just as an example. After you've successfully graduated from this boot camp, we then place you at our clients as a Dev 10 developer. And it is a program that our clients participate in. Once you're there, we don't just say bye-bye and let you go and hope for the best. We are very committed to this being successful for both you and the client. So we have on our staff several what we call delivery directors, who are typically former consultants themselves, who are your professional coach and mentor. They also connect with the client to regularly check in, make sure everything's going well, and they are there to proactively help you problem solve or make sure that things don't escalate to where it gets to be a problem. Okay, so on the right side of the screen is the benefits of the program. These are more directed towards clients and like prospective clients that we have, but I think it's still helpful for you to see this. Again, it's exclusive access for our clients to an alternative, high quality local talent pipeline. And then the points under there we already talked about. Again, the ongoing performance coaching is a key success factor that we find in this program. We actually have about a 97% success rate of people who make it through the program and then are very successful on site with their clients. The feedback we get from clients is really phenomenal. They say that compared to other junior talent they bring in, our Dev 10ers hit the ground more quickly, are able to get up to speed more quickly and learn technologies more quickly. And then finally, we have a flexible conversion model, which means that after about a year of the Dev 10er being on site at the client, they can hire them as an employee. So that's kind of the long-term intent of the program, is to help our clients build that next generation employee. So that's Dev 10 in a nutshell. I'm going to turn over to Chris Rowe now to talk about some open roles we have and how to get in touch with us.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So thanks, Varda, and thanks again, everybody, for the opportunity for us to share Genesis 10. I'm Chris Rowe. I manage the recruiting team here in Minnesota and the candidate experience at Genesis 10. As Varda mentioned, Genesis 10 is an IT and business consulting company. We've been here in the Twin Cities for over 15 years. Our positions do include contract to hire, and perm opportunities. About 40% of our positions are contract to hire. So if you aren't familiar with contract to hire, uncomfortable with contract to hire, or have questions about that opportunity, I'd encourage you to look into it. It's a good avenue to get into clients that you're interested in. It's access to roles that you may or may not have access to already. So it's a good option as you're looking for new opportunities. About the recruiting process and experience with Genesis 10, we value that one-on-one relationship. We work closely with many local and regional partners to help us making those connections. And we're adamant about keeping those ongoing connections and networking opportunities available. We really want to understand kind of what your background is today, but also what your career goals are in the future, so we can align them to our client needs. Also, we'll just mention too that whether you're an experienced consultant or new to consulting, we have an in-depth onboarding process that really makes the process fairly smooth. That orientation or onboarding process is about Genesis 10, of course, who we are, our benefits, what services we have available. But because of the industry we're in, we also spend a fair amount of time talking about our clients, their environments, their teams, some of their business challenges. So you really understand a little bit more about that client when you hit their first day, hit the ground running, get up to speed quickly. And then we do offer and really prioritize ongoing support and mentoring throughout that duration of the contract or the contract to hire piece of it. Varda quickly mentioned about the delivery director team. They are former consultants, usually senior level IT and business managers who are Genesis 10 employees, and they're really the mentor and that connection between you, Genesis 10, and our client. So we have a dedicated resource that's there for questions, training, career goals, concerns that our consultants have. Some of the sample roles that we have available today, we do have some support desk roles available for some teams that we manage. Those are really nice because we can bring people in on level 1, and then through performance and training, they can move up through to level 2 to leadership roles and so on. Also, web developers and engineers, very popular right now. C#, .NET Core, React, Angular are some of the skills we're looking for there. Project managers, scrum masters, and then business analysts kind of round out, I think, some of the top 4 or 5 skills or openings that we have today. So how to connect with us and how to engage with us. There are a few different ways. You'll notice the Genesis 10 website. You can apply to roles directly. That's a link directly to that recruiter who's working on that role. You can also create job alerts, so you can get notified of new openings that are aligned to your background. You can also connect with Genesis 10 through LinkedIn and or any of our employees through LinkedIn as well. So I encourage you to look at that avenue as well. So that rounds out, I guess, the stuff that we wanted to cover. Again, I thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit more about Genesis 10, and I'll turn it back over.
Great, thank you very much. We've run out of time, unfortunately, for Genesis 10. I know Varda is answering some of the questions in the Q&A, so she'll get that information out to you. I'd like to move along and welcome Medtronic. We've got Kendra Jordan with us.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, thank you.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you for having me. My name is Kendra Jordan, and I am part of the talent acquisition team with Medtronic, and I specifically support U.S.-based IT hiring. Although, as you can see here, we do have over 90,000 employees and over 10,000 engineers and scientists. So even though I represent IT, the information that I'll share with you today will allow you to search for jobs in any of our functions. So 76 manufacturing sites, 150 plus countries. I'm sure that most of you in the Twin Cities are familiar, at least on some level, with Medtronic and our offerings, so I won't spend a lot of time there, but if you could please move to the next slide. For a little bit of background, we are just in the very beginning of our fiscal year, so there's positions that are posted, new requisitions that are posted at every level of individual contributor and leadership roles, and they're changing every day and sometimes multiple times a day. So to apply for the positions, first prepare yourself. Make sure that your resume is updated. Make sure that you meet the minimum qualifications. Update your LinkedIn profile. As talent acquisition specialists, we do often go out and look for other information about our applicants that may not be found just on their resumes. And network. We have organizations such as DEED and MinTech and other areas that people that currently work for Medtronic or formerly work for Medtronic are connected with. So make sure that you keep them in your network as well. To apply, you'll simply go to jobs.medtronic.com, and you can search by a number of ways, by keyword, by location, by specific job title. If you happen to have a line on something that just got posted through your network, and then skills and proficiencies. And there's a little more detail about how you should proceed in the next slide. You will definitely want to create your talent profile if you haven't already, and that will allow you to kind of build out the skills and job titles and things like that would act as keyword triggers for you, and then set up your job alerts so that you are notified via email anytime new positions are posted, which, as I mentioned, is regularly due to the timing of our fiscal year. So rather than have to remind yourself to go back into the website to search for new roles, you can set up those job alerts, and then you can manage that in your submissions. So by clicking on that and going back into your talent profile, you will be able to see if you are still being considered for roles, or if it has been determined that Medtronic has moved in another direction. And I realize that is a very short presentation, but really wanted to give everyone the high-level overview of how you can build that profile and cast a wider umbrella for how to identify roles within Medtronic. And here's my contact information. You can email me, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn, as I do often highlight new roles that are posted within IT there, so that you can see those and share those and interact that way.
Good. Thank you, Kendra. Is Medtronic on a hiring freeze right now, or is the situation fluid?
It is fluid, and a lot of it has to do with it being the beginning of our fiscal year and trying to go with those annual operating plans that are being worked out right now.
Sure. Now, what percentage of positions are telecommuting right now for Medtronic?
So unless it is essential that you are in an office, we are all working from home. I'm actually working from my home in Colorado and speaking with all of you in the Twin Cities, but we have been the leadership has been very open with slowly and deliberately reopening facilities and maintaining social distancing, and even if you are able to go back in the office, if you don't feel comfortable, you are not required. So I think that this has changed the views on how working remotely is seen.
That's great. Other questions for Kendra? Okay, well, we can always come back. Let's see if there's one more. Do you have any locations in the Rochester area?
I don't know offhand, but there could be remote opportunities that someone in the Rochester area would be able to apply for.
Great. Well, thank you very much. It was great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'd like to move on to Target Corporation. We have Ashley Monseth and Jake Krings joining us. Give me a moment while I try to unmute them. Ashley, or are you on? I am actually not seeing Ashley's or Jake's caller information right now. So we're going to give them a minute just to reconnect if they possibly need to. Jeff Tollefson, wonder if you have any thoughts you want to say right now about tech industry hiring, if you're there.
I am here, Liz, and as I stated earlier in the during these sessions, the hiring continues in the tech industry, and it has been on a hiring tear for the last few years, and even in light of the COVID pandemic, it's really shining a light on the important role that technology is playing in keeping our economy afloat. It's also enabling the distance learning that is allowing our students to continue on their educational path, empowering the telemedicine, helping patients stay connected with doctors, the supply chains and logistics like C.H. Robinson or e-commerce that Digital River talked about. And as we have Jake getting ready to come on with Target, making sure that technology enables safe access to the goods and products that we all need. So the technology field is only going to continue to grow, and we need all the talent that we have and all that we can reskill and upskill from those that maybe have been put out of work from the hospitality industry, the leisure industry. And that's why we heard earlier this morning from some great programs that provide certifications and a pathway to a tech career fairly quickly, over 8 to 12 or sometimes 16 weeks. And hopefully those on the call will see that there are not only opportunities, but a lot of groups that are willing to help you on that journey. So I don't know, Liz, if we've got Jake back on.
Hey guys, yeah. Hey Jeff.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Jake Krings, and I lead our marketing technology organization at Target. I also have the pleasure to serve on the MinTech board of directors with Jeff, who helped open us today, and nice to hear you again, Jeff. At MinTech, we're committed to helping create a more vibrant and inclusive tech ecosystem in Minnesota. So it's great to have forums like this where we can get together, talk about the training opportunities that are out there for our workforce, and then member companies like Target, Medtronic, some of the others that have talked about what some of our opportunities are. So really great to have us. Thank you. I'm here with Ashley Monseth, who supports our talent acquisition team, and we'll hear from her in a little bit. So in terms of Target, I'm sure you're all familiar with Target. We have 1,800 stores, 350,000 team members who unite around a purpose to help all families discover the joy of everyday life. And joy can seem a little bit out of reach at the moment in the Twin Cities and across the country, but as I speak, Target leaders are assembling community members, partners, and local officials to help identify what more we can do together and what resources are required to help families starting right here in Minnesota. So really proud to be part of Target right now and helping with that. And again, appreciate all the companies on this call who are good stewards of Minnesota and what we're trying to do collectively to improve the inclusivity of our IT workforce. So today I wanted to talk a bit about Target's strategy, how technology supports it, and what our teams look like. And then Ashley will talk about how to get connected with our careers site. So a bit about our strategy. So as we've all seen, retail has transformed substantially over the last decade, even over the last 3 years, and Target has transformed as well. Our goal is to make Target the most convenient and safest place to shop. And to enable this, not yet on the slide, we'll get there in 1 second. And to get there, we're really looking to enhance the store and the digital experience for our guests. So if you see, we've tried to make that seamless where you can shop online, go to the store to pick up your order, whether it's through drive up or in-store pickup. And that really has allowed us to leverage our stores as hubs. And 75% of Target guests live within 10 miles of a Target store. That's a huge competitive advantage for us. And it emphasizes like how critical the technology is. Now we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So technology is just clearly an enabler of our strategy. And at Target, we develop most of our solutions that power our business. And we develop those in-house. We leverage open source technologies like Java, Kotlin, Cassandra, MongoDB, Postgres, Android, iOS, and the DevOps tools to release code changes daily. I want to just pause for a minute because if you've never heard of those technologies, that's okay, right? I learn a new technology about every day because this is a really dynamic environment. My recommendation for anybody that didn't recognize those technology languages is just start somewhere because we're all learning. My recommendations for where to start would be Java or Python. And there's a lot of really great online tools, online tutorials that are free just to help you get the ball rolling. And that's something that technologists leverage all the time, is just starting to learn new technologies. The first step is always going to be Google that technology and start taking some online courses, many of which, again, are free. Moving on to the next slide then. From a team perspective, we desire to build diverse teams of engineers that are passionate about technology and learning. Over the last few years, we've expanded our sources of talent from established engineers and four-year college graduates to working with local software boot camps, Metro State, and most recently programs like HackBright, which help working professionals do a job or a career transition into technology. At the start of the meeting, Jeff Tullison from Mintech mentioned the importance of collaboration, and I could not echo that more. At Target, we work in lean teams, normally co-located within pods in the office, but like Medtronic, we are pretty much all virtual right now. So we're working through the new, learning curve on what that looks like. It's gone relatively well for us. So we're all working remotely right now. But the emphasis there is we do work as a team. Engineering at Target isn't, you're not working by yourself. You're working with a team of people, and that's why that collaboration and good communication is so important. So kudos to the training teams that we heard earlier in the call that are building skills to collaborate as well. And then the other, one of the benefits that our engineers have is just 50 days of learning. So any engineer at Target has the opportunity to learn for 50 days. And with how rapidly retail is changing, this is one of the ways that we're staying ahead to allow our engineers basically a day a week to experiment with new technologies that we might leverage within our business. So that's a little bit about Target strategy, the technology that we're using, and then how we structure our teams at Target. Right now, if I can, I'm going to try to turn it over to Ashley, who I hope is also dialing the call, to talk a little bit about how we get connected with our career site. Ashley, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
Okay, great. You can go to the next slide, please. So I'm Ashley Monsef. I'm a lead executive recruiter on our technology team, and I typically will be hiring for more of our experience level tech talent, but also recognize that there's a lot of individuals here that might want to hear more entry level opportunity as well. So like Jake mentioned, we have made a lot of really great partnerships over the past year and really expanding our footprint into how are we onboarding engineers to Target We have our traditional internship programs, spring and summer. And then we have our technology leadership program, which is a rotational program. Again, still kind of looking for that 4-year degree individual. One of the exciting programs that we have recently put into place is our emerging engineering program, which is really kind of a pipeline that we get from either boot camps, and I know Jake mentioned a few different partnerships that we've had, or even self-taught engineers that maybe have not come up through the traditional 4-year experience as others have. So that's a really exciting program that we have kicked off this past year. And then that would be essentially a pipeline into our TLP program to gain additional experience at Target. We also have engineer openings, senior engineer positions, and beyond as well. It goes all the way up to distinguished engineer at Target. And then we also have a lot of really great leadership opportunities as well. And that's typically what I focus on as a technology recruiter. So engineering leadership, engineering management. And then we also have an engineering immersion program as well. That really is a 1-year program, giving individuals experience to be ready for senior engineering manager positions. So we have a lot of great programs, a lot of great ways to get into Target Technology. You can see target.com/careers. That's the best place to go to really see what is currently open. Much like the Medtronic recruiter, we also do have a job alert opportunity. So you can go in and put in what you're looking for, and then essentially be pinged when we post a new position out there. And I know, there's a lot of questions around remote working. What does that look like for Target? We're headquartered here in Minneapolis, as you all more than likely know. So a lot of our opportunities will be based downtown Minneapolis or in our Brooklyn Park office, which is our TNC, our Target North campus. We also have a couple smaller offices in California. And then, from a work from home perspective, it's not something that we traditionally have set individuals up with, but with all of the COVID work from home that has been happening, I wouldn't doubt that we start looking at that again. So those are kind of the main areas that we would recruit for, the main locations. And I think that was all I was going to cover, and I'll send it back. Great.
We've got one question. Do you have any business system analyst positions that require a 4-year degree when there's extensive experience? So I guess the question is, what is your credit for prior work experience?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I don't believe there's any DSA positions open within our Target Technology teams. What I will tell you for the most part for our technology opens is we don't have a hard requirement for a college, graduating college, a 4-year degree. There is a lot of the offset of actual experience that we would look at, to supplement. And that is really going to be based in the specific job description. So I would encourage you to read through that to see really what is the requirement, because it is very case by case on the position.
So there's another question that came up. Does Target have positions in operations technology? So like building systems, like security and building automation.
I'm sorry, you cut out there. I couldn't hear the question.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Does Target have positions in operations technology, building systems like security and building automation?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, we do have those. Again, I think that's Tom now that I see online. What I would do is defer you back to our career site. I would love to make a plug for the recruiting team, because we do really look at each applicant that comes through. So feel free to, like I said, either do an alert if you don't see something with that keyword, Tom, of operation technology or business systems, security. We do have a very large security, cybersecurity organization too, very large infrastructure organization. I know Jake mentioned some of, the all-encompassing technologies that we work with, but our technology organization is massive. So definitely have opportunity there.
Thank you very much to every single employer on this call today. And a very, very special thank you to Jeff Tollefson with Minnesota Technology Association. He and his team did fantastic work assisting Adeshewa and myself to pull this all together. And this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everyone. We have been recording this presentation. So I will get the YouTube link out once it's posted, and I will get a PDF of both 9 o'clock session on training programs and on the employer's hiring. And included with that will be everyone's contact information. So we've got this slide here with it, but then I'll also get it to you in the email. So the email will be coming from me, liz.jennings@state.mn.us. So I'll get that out by late tonight or tomorrow. These organizations are just a few of all of the businesses who still are hiring despite the higher unemployment right now. So I encourage you to go to our National Labor Exchange, which is minnesotaworks.net. Look for jobs there. Call the Career Force Help Desk for any questions, and come back each Monday when I hold, again, this virtual career fair. Next Monday, June 8th, we'll have another lineup of companies from 10:30 to 11:30. So please reach out. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Adeshewa.
Yes, before everyone goes, I just want to say also thank you to Jeff at Mintech. Thank you to all the employers. Thank you to the educators. Thank you to Liz, really putting this together. And thank you to everyone in the audience for taking time out of your days to sign up and listen to these educators and these employers. I hope that this was very helpful and very informative. As I mentioned before, this is hopefully one of many of these events, these tech events that we will be putting together and hosting. So please sign up on Career Force MN, Minnesota Works, as Liz mentioned, and just remain kept in the loop about future events. Thank you.
Great. Goodbye, everyone.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.